It is official, Steelers fans. The Pittsburgh Steelers have a brand new OC as they have agreed to terms with former Falcons head coach and Tennessee Titans offensive coordinator Arthur Smith to be the next offensive coordinator for the black and gold. Today, I'm going to be reacting to the news, going to let you know what to expect from the Steelers offense in 2024 under Smith, going to let you know which players this offense fits, and then some players that, might be on their way out because they're not great scheme fits for this system. But before I get into that, make sure you guys click that subscribe button because this is why you click that subscribe button. Breaking news action every time the Steelers make a move, every time they hire a coach, every time they sign a player in free agency, every time they make a trade this offseason. Every time there's breaking news coverage to be had for the Pittsburgh Steelers, we're going to have you covered right here on the channel. So don't miss a single news story for the Pittsburgh Steelers this offseason. Click that subscribe button for me right now. So Tom Pelissero was the one to break the news to Steelers Nation today, where he says the Steelers are expected to hire former Falcons coach Arthur Smith as their offensive coordinator per sources. Smith had a top run game as the Titans OC before heading to Atlanta 3 years ago. Now he'll be coaching Najee Harris, Jalen Warren, and company in Pittsburgh. So when it comes to Arthur Smith, all right, so he was the Falcons head coach from 2021, 2023. He was the Titans offensive coordinator 2019 through 2020. He started coaching in the NFL in 2007, and, in his time in Atlanta, had some pretty bad quarterback play there, Matt Ryan, Desmond Ridder, Taylor Heineke. The defenses kind of struggled a little bit, and I'm not sure if he proved himself as a leader of a locker room. So I think he proved to be a better offensive coordinator and offensive mind than a true leader of a locker room and a head coach in the National Football League, which could mean Arthur Smith could be in Pittsburgh for a while, even if he has success, because he's already tried and failed as an NFL head coach. Now, let's look at the Falcons offense in 2023. And listen, when you look at these numbers, I can understand why some people are upset with this hire, saying this guy is a failure. All right, 26th in the league in points per game last year, 30th in red zone percentage, 26th in giveaways. That's not good at all. But you look at this offense, they actually moved the football at about a league average rate, 17th in yards per game, 16th in yards per play, and 13th in third down percentage. It's respectable. It's not top 10 or anything like that. But then you look back to when Arthur Smith got hired as the head coach of the Falcons back in after that 2020 season with Tennessee, and they had a bona fide top 5 offense in the National Football League with Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown, and Ryan freaking Tannehill as their starting quarterback, all right? So you look at that right there. The red zone percentage was top 3. Points per game was top 5. They weren't turning the football over. They were dominating people, and they were enforcing their will, which is why Arthur Smith is still one of the more respected offensive minds in the National Football League today, and he had so much interest from teams around the league, and the Steelers ended up landing him. So what is your one-word reaction to the Steelers making this hire, going with Arthur Smith over guys like Clint Kubiak, Brian Griese, the San Francisco 49er guys? Let me know down there in the comments section for today's pinned comment what your one-word reaction is to today's hire. So my one-word reaction here is that this is a solid hire. If I were to give it a grade, I would give it a B+ to an A-, somewhere in that range. Now, would I have rather had Clint Kubiak? Would I have rather had Brian Griese? Sure. But Arthur Smith is one of the most respected offensive minds in the National Football League today. He had a ton of interest from a bunch of different teams in the league. And oh yeah, he's bringing Mike Munchak, the legendary offensive line coach, to Pittsburgh because he is dedicated to Arthur Smith as a coach. And I think that speaks wonders of Arthur Smith's intellect and play calling prowess. So let's go over what you can expect from the Pittsburgh Steelers schematically in 2024. Number one, it is going to be heavy outside zone run scheme. All right, you're going to see outside zone probably one in every at least 4 run plays. They like to do it from tight formations. We'll get into that in a little bit. But they also like to pair it with pre-snap motion, which is another thing that Arthur Smith is known for. He likes to use motion in ways that are advantageous for the offense to exploit. Not only does he do it for information, sending guys across the formation, letting Kenny Pickett, the quarterback, know whether it's man or zone, but he also gets them going at the snap to change run fits and put the defenses in tough positions. He's one of the best in the league at using pre-snap motion to get the offense in advantageous circumstances. Number 3, heavy personnel packages. So you're going to see lots of 2 tight end packages. You're going to see Darnell Washington really thrive potentially in this system, all right? This system really rewards tight ends that can both block and receive, so we'll see if Darnell can develop. But also, he likes to put 2 running backs on the field, a running back and then a fullback, and I think Connor Hayward is a perfect fit to be the fullback in this offense. Arthur Smith likes to use his fullbacks as receivers. So think Kyle Juszczyk. Think Alex Ingold there with the Miami Dolphins. Arthur Smith likes to use fullbacks in that way, and I think Connor Hayward, being a former tight end, is perfect to fill that role, and he could be an every down starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers in this offense. Number 4, tight formations to get all 11 players involved. Arthur Smith likes to have at least two running backs or wide receivers on the field, 2 tight ends, and he likes to put everybody close to the line of scrimmage. So you can see this formation right here. You're going to see a lot of this on the Pittsburgh Steelers film in 2024. This is his favorite formation, Arthur Smith's. It's called Ace Close, okay? So you've got 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, 1 running back, and he loves to go outside zone, likes to do his play action stuff out of this. Get used to this because you're going to see a lot of this formation moving forward for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then number 5 here, attacking the middle of the field off of play action. He loves to go play action fake, which opens up the middle of the field because of the sinking linebackers, and he likes to put his number 1 receiver darting over the middle of the field, wide open over the middle. And it worked out for A.J. Brown in Tennessee. All right, it really did. He became a star in this league because of his role in this offense, and I think George Pickens is tailor-made for this role here for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's going to get him the ball in space. It's going to allow him to use his excellent yard after the catch ability, and I really do think this is the type of system that George Pickens can blossom into the superstar we all know he can be. So coming up here, I'm going to go over the pros and some of the cons of Arthur Smith being the hire for the offensive coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers because, you know, it's not just pros, guys. There are some cons here, but before I get into that, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Fanatics. Go to chatsports.com/TJ to get an awesome TJ Watt t-shirt on sale right now on the Fanatics website. The offseason is the perfect time to stock up on your Steelers gear because that's when all the best deals are happening. And right now, Fanatics has TJ Watt t-shirt on sale right now. You can get it chatsports.com/TJ right now. All right, so now the pros of Arthur Smith's offense here is that it's extremely quarterback friendly. Okay, so the reads are going to be really simple for Kenny Pickett. He's not going to be asked to make full field progressions on every single pass play like he was in Matt Canada's offense, all right? Much more simple. The play action stuff is going to open up a ton of space over the middle of the field, and it's also going to get him on the run more. And we all know Kenny Pickett has played some of his best football when he's running outside of the pocket, throwing on the run. That's one of his strengths. This offense takes advantage of that. Number 2, it keeps the defense in the dark. Arthur Smith likes to pair all of his concepts within the same formations so the defense has no idea what's coming. So although it's a bit more simple of an offense, it also keeps the defense in the dark because they run the same stuff out of the same formations and you have no idea what's coming next. Number 3, you can dominate with the right guys. A.J. Brown and Derrick Henry led this offense to be the Titans to be a number 1 seed in the AFC in a loaded AFC conference just back in 2020. If Najee Harris, Jaylen Warren, and George Pickens can fill those same roles within this offense, this team could absolutely get on the right track when it comes to the offensive side of the ball. Now, I've been an advocate of this hire. I think it's a good hire, but there are some cons involved with hiring Arthur Smith. First of all, he's not willing to make adjustments, all right? He's somebody that believes in running what you run, and you keep running it even if it's not working, all right? So he's going to have his stuff that he likes to run, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to have to master it. Other than that, he doesn't make adjustments mid-season. He doesn't make adjustments mid-game, all right? He runs what he runs. He has his plan, and right now I think that this is a plan that can work, but if it's not working, don't expect too many adjustments to be made from Arthur Smith. Number 2, the drop-back passing game is not as good as it is with the Shanahan guys, as it is with the McVay guys, as it is with like the Eric Bieniemys and the Kansas City Chiefs tree of the world, right? So it's going to be more along the lines of wanting to impose your will in the run game, shorten the game, get easy reads for your quarterback, and kind of dominate on defense, which does fit what the Pittsburgh Steelers have right now because they have a great defense. Number 3, right? So there's some personnel that just doesn't fit right now, and those guys might be in danger of potentially getting traded this offseason. We'll talk about that. They're going to have to tailor this personnel and their roster to this scheme for sure this offseason, and we'll discuss everything that needs to be done in order to do that in future videos here. But I do like the move here for Arthur Smith. As I discussed, there's lots of pros. Kenny Pickett is going to be comfortable in this season, or at least as comfortable as he can be. You got 2 good running backs that are great fits for this run scheme. I am very, very excited to see what this offense looks like with Arthur Smith. And although I won't give this an A+ grade, I do think it is pretty darn good. So how does this affect the Pittsburgh Steelers' off-season strategy? And I do think it's going to affect it quite a bit. So first, let's talk about the guys that I think are great fits for this offense. We start with the quarterback and Kenny Pickett. QB-friendly system, I've been saying from the start, if you're going to stick with Kenny Pickett as your starter, you need to simplify the reads for him, and you need a quarterback-friendly scheme. They accomplished that here with Arthur Smith. Number 2, George Pickens. This offense is going to get him the ball in the middle of the field on one-on-one coverage, and he's going to be able to run away from people. That's the type of system that's going to work with George Pickens, and I cannot wait to see him bud into a potential superstar that we all know he can be. Number 3, the running back duo. All right, you got Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren. Both are great fits for this outside zone run scheme, in my opinion, and I cannot wait to see this run game go with Arthur Smith at the helm. But 2 players that could be in trouble and could maybe even get dealt this offseason, Deontay Johnson for sure. Arthur Smith loves bigger receivers that can block in the run game. We saw it. I showed it earlier with that ace close formation that you're going to see a lot. 2 big receivers is what Arthur Smith likes to run. Deontay Johnson is not a good run blocker, all right? So if the Steelers can get a high second-round pick, a late first-round pick for Deontay Johnson, I think they might take it. And then in that first round, they'll replace him with a bigger wide receiver to take his spot on the Steelers offense. And then Pat Freiermuth, Arthur Smith likes tight ends that can block. Pat Freiermuth is not the best blocker in the world, so it'll be interesting to see what their plans are with Muth this offseason. And then talking about the QB competition that the Steelers want to bring in for Kenny Pickett this year, they've been talking about Mason Rudolph, how they want to bring him back. But let's say Mason Rudolph goes elsewhere. I think in that instance, Ryan Tannehill is going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. And the reason for that is that he played his best football by far when Arthur Smith was his offensive coordinator in this offense. You look at those 2020 stats when the Titans were the number 1 seed in the AFC that year, 65% completion percentage, almost 4,000 yards. This is Ryan Tannehill we're talking about here, guys. 33 touchdowns to just 7 interceptions. So if Kenny Pickett stinks in this offense, you can at least have a little bit of confidence that Ryan Tannehill has the competency within this structure to succeed. So I think if they end up getting a good backup here for Kenny Pickett in case he stinks in this system this year, which is a possibility, Ryan Tannehill would be a good plan B in my opinion. So listen, man, Mike Tomlin, he's putting his trust in Arthur Smith to be the guy on offense here in Pittsburgh. It's going to be his offense. And honestly, if he fails, Mike Tomlin might get fired. So let me know down there in the comments section, will this be the offensive coordinator hire that gets Mike Tomlin fired as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers? Type yes or type no. For me, I think it's going to work out. I think that it's going to be something that works out here in Pittsburgh. I think Kenny Pickett hopefully finds a little bit of success. I think the run game will be good. I think George Pickens will thrive in this offense. I think that this is a good hire, but let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. And of course, guys, make sure you click that subscribe button for more breaking news coverage throughout the 2024 offseason for your Pittsburgh Steelers.